Because we were talking about some things in the back that you're not going to get on CNN.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Bailey.
Yes, sir.
My friend.
Yes, sir.
Through the years, I just want you to know I'm so appreciative that you invited my wife and I. This is an honor. And not being braggadocious or egotistical, but I am. My wife and I travel the world. Right. But I've never been to this great church. Y'all have some kind of outstanding pastor. I appreciate you, Dr. Bailey. My wife and I just got back from Israel. Matter of fact, until recently, I had an office in Bethlehem. Hello, somebody. Yeah, my wife was invited by the First Lady of Israel. Oh, by the way, she is from Montgomery, Alabama. By way of Greene County. I had to say that. She moved here, I think, in the 9th grade, 10th or 9th grade. But I'm so honored to be here. Now, don't get your computer, but get your pen. Because I got something to say. And you need to take notes. Mayor, it's good to see you. Always, I'm just happy that you're here. You always be my mayor. My wife, best friend, is sitting next to her. And she's also a member of SCLC Lifetime. Now, y'all can be too, $2,000. Dr. Cole, Dr. Brenda Cole, please stand. School board chair. That's my wife's best friend. Chair of the school board. And she's a life member of SCLC. Come to all our national conventions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be long. But y'all got in trouble when the Reverend said, what'd you say, Doc? Do it. Do it. And let the hammer down. And Pastor William, again, thank you. Yes, I just told him about a program. And I'm going to say it now. Program we're working in because Dr. Bailey, you mentioned it. I am a fundraiser. I raise money.
Okay.
See, when I first came to SCLC, and I'm in Dr. King's position, been here almost 20 years. So I got to know a little something. Got to know something to stay here. They killed Dr. King. And I know who they were. If Pastor William invite me back and Dr. Bailey, I tell you. I ain't telling you this morning. And to be in the United Methodist Church, Dr. Lowry. Yes, sir. I got to mention Dr. Lowry. That was my mentor, my trainer, my friend. He did my oldest daughter's wedding, and then charged me. Because Doc would say, I'm going to pass the plate. But he didn't. So to be here, and I grew up in the United Methodist Church until I met my wife. She changed me to a Baptist. And we've been married 46 years. 46 years. And I'm getting ready to get started, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my family, which is my wife's family and my family. Will y'all please stand? The people that support me when everybody else turned their back on me. If you in this family of Kathleen Chambers Steele and Charles Steele Jr., please stand. There it is. Herman, good to see you. And with Martini and Dr. Vaughn, who works at the university and got her own consulting firm. So, ladies and gentlemen, I got some very discouraging words. But first, I always like to take a scripture. Just to give me some backup. And I'm going to paraphrase pretty much. The the sin of the next generation.
All right. All right.
Woo! Lord, have mercy.
Come on, talk to me.
I'm going to go to Judges, second chapter. I'm going to just start reading at the 11th verse. Listen to me, folks. The people of Israel did what the Lord considered evil. They began to serve other gods, the Baals of the world. The Israelites abandoned the Lord God of their ancestors, the God who brought them out of Egypt. They followed the other gods of the temple around them. Lord, have mercy. They worshiped these gods. Sound like another group of folks I know. They worshiped these gods. Forgot about what the Lord had done for them. And that made the Lord angry. I'm paraphrasing. That made the Lord angry. He's angry now. Because we have forgotten from which we have come. They abandoned the Lord to serve these other gods. He handed them over to people who robbed them. Woo! He allowed other people to rob them.
Yes.
And guess what? They looking for a king, but God was their king.
Yes.
As he's our king. And we looking to politicians. We're looking at politicians. God is our political leader. He's our spiritual leader. He's our God. He also used their enemies around them to defeat them.
Say it again.
Can I say it, Pastor?
Say it again.
Pastor Bailey?
Yes, sir. All right.
This is in Judges. This ain't me writing this down. Second chapter. This is what I'm talking about. He handed them over to people who robbed them. He also used their enemies around them to defeat them. They could no longer stand up against their enemies. So he made them suffer a great deal. Woo! Sound like another group of people to me. Lord have mercy. And we talking about the voting ballot. Oh, I got something to say on that note. As the Emancipation Proclamation was read, the Emancipation Proclamation was an executive order. It didn't pass Congress by President Abraham Lincoln. He was told that he couldn't do it. He said, I got the power because I'm the president. Hello, somebody. You in the mayor position. You in the council position. I've been a city councilor. I've been a state senator. I've gone to jail when I was a state senator, and others telling me, you can't do that now. Why? Because I'm representing the people, and there's no fairness in what we are doing. Dr. King said, I didn't say it, but I agree with it. Dr. King said, the government is the enemy. Woo! Now, I know I ain't coming back no more. I'm going to tell it this morning. I ain't coming back. No, I ain't coming back. I'm going to tell it this morning. The government is the enemy. I know you don't like it. It was the government that put you in slavery. Come on, church, talk to me. I'm not a scared Negro. I don't fool with scared Negroes. Because a scared Negro will get you killed. Talk to me, somebody. I know what I'm talking about. I walked in the church in Atlanta, Pastor, you Morehouse, man. I speak in Morehouse a lot. All friends of mine. Dean Collins.
Yes, sir.
That's my friend.
Yes, sir.
Always put me there. Still, I'm going to put your picture next to Dr. King. Don't make me no target. Don't make me no target. But I walked in the church in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and the pastor was up, church packed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Charles Steele. A scared Negro will get you killed. That's That's what would happen. They killed Dr. King because they were jealous of him. They were jealous of him. They was around him, smiling at his back. But they were jealous of him. Lord have mercy. And I know who they were, and I know how they got set up. Martin III had a meeting in Memphis, invited my wife and I. Martin III and I are very good friends, along with Bernice and Dexter. He said, I want you and your wife to be here. We went there. There were 7 former FBI, CIA agents. And they told the story. They knew every move that Dr. King was making. They called some preacher's name. I would not expose them here this morning. But when Pastor William called me back, I will. He asked me to do his Men's Day program. They called the names of those folks. Said we knew his every move. Now these former FBI agents and CIA agents live in Europe. They don't live in America no more. Hello, somebody.
All right now. Tell it.
They don't live in America no more. It was Dr. King's own people that turned on him. And 50% of them hated him anyway. Oh, come on now. I got to know. I'm in the position. 48 to 50% of black folks, Negroes at the time, hated Dr. King. We're talking about the Emancipation Proclamation. They hated. I didn't say the Ku Klux Klan. I didn't say the Caucasians. I said black folks.
All right.
You know, I was invited to L.A. Tavis Smile invited me to speak at a luncheon a few months ago, less than a year. And Tavis sent a driver to pick me up that morning for breakfast. And before I left, going to meet my driver, I was watching the local news. Y'all heard of Nipsey Hussle? Come on, dog. His assassin, his murderer, was being on trial, a pre-hearing for the trial. The prosecutor asked, and Nipsey Hussle was a rapper, and I got a lot of rapper friends. I'm 77 years old. You better pay attention to old hip-hoppers. You better pay attention to them and bring them into the church. Pay attention. They got a lot of power. And that's the next generation. But they lost hope in this system.
That's right.
They lost hope. The church can give them hope. You as an individual can give them hope. But the prosecutor asked the murderer of Nipsey Hussle. He asked the question, why did you kill him? You know what he said? Because I was jealous of him. Woo! You didn't see that? He said I was jealous of him. Jealousy is something in the black community and America. Because we got it from white folks. They can't get off the hook. We got it from white folks. Now, if you're afraid somebody's going to tell you was at this meeting, I'm going to give you an excuse to leave now. Because a lot of y'all, I'm going to tell it, Herman, a lot of y'all don't want to hear the truth. That's why you're in trouble right now. Can't no black president or no black mayor, can't no black elected official free you. You got to free the elected officials. politics. You're contained. I remember when the police was killing black folks in the cemetery here. I was a state senator, Pastor. And I sat in the mayor's office. Matter of fact, I was so tired, the press got me in there snoring. Because I was sleeping. I was sleeping. But I was there because the police officer had attacked on young black men. And all my fellow elected officials all over the world was calling me, man, you're an elected official now. You can't be sitting in on the mayor and nobody else. I said, I might be in the black elected officials, but I'm here to represent the oppressed, the poor, the hungry, those who are looked down upon, not because I'm elected, because God is leading me to do this. Yeah. You got to be led by God, not by no politician. In case you don't know it, you're under Jim Crow law right now. Woo! 10 years ago, I'm going to give you some facts. I'm going to juice it up at the end. 10 years ago. No, you don't know because most Negroes don't know. When the 1965 Voter Rights Act was gutted with Section 4 and Section 5. 10 years ago, June the 25th. 2013. I know because I was there. Not on the inside of the U.S. Supreme Court. I was on the outside with a sign with 50 more people saying, don't gut Section 4 and Section 5 of the 1965 Voter Rights Act. Because that's going to destroy what we have accomplished. They gutted it. They gutted it. Who was the president then? Who? Come on, Doc, 10 years ago. I ain't going to call the name. No, you called it 10 years ago. Who was the president? Are you a scared Negro? Call the name. It was Obama. All I'm saying that Obama could have done, and let me get right to the point. In the kingdom philosophy of Dr. King, I train this all over the world. I speak everywhere, even in Moscow, Russia. I had an office until Putin went crazy. I did it under Mikhail Gorbachev. Kill Ukraine. I had an office. And they looking for black folks to free them. And you're living here in Montgomery and throughout the United States. They say, still, if African Americans don't free themselves, we won't be free. Got office in Paris, France, Berlin, Germany. I know what I'm talking about. Reverend?
You said you weren't going to say.
I'm going to say what we're talking about.
All right.
Reverend Crenshaw said, what's going on in Israel? I've been to Israel. I've been baptized in the Jordan River 4 times, Pastor. 4 times. Somebody said, why so many times? I ain't taking no chances. I'm going where the Lord went. I'm going in the water. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going in the water. She was with me back in July. We went in the water together, and I'm going back in the water. I don't play with the Lord. I don't play with the Lord. This business is serious about serving the Lord. Get up and pray, and then you don't go help nobody. Oh, come on and talk to me. Get up and pray. The Lord will send your enemies. That's why we can't do nothing. That's why we in poverty. It's a black women group out of Atlanta. Fearless Fun. Their whole job is to get money for black women in business. Fearless Fun. It's a gentleman named, he's a Jew, and the Jews wonder why black folks don't like them. Oh, y'all don't know. Y'all got to hear me. is Edward Bloom. Write it down. Be looking at me, write it down. And one fella said, still, I heard you speak. You say Sam Bloom. No, you didn't hear me. It's Edward Bloom. He's a Jew. B-L-U-M, Bloom. Edward Bloom. And I was talking to some Morehouse students, with Damon Dash. You know Damon? Damon Dash, who made Jay-Z so famous and rich. Yeah. So Damon and I had lunch together.
Kingmaker.
Yes, sir, Kingmaker. Damon said, I want to meet this nigga. He ain't scared of nothing. He's a good guy, Damon Dash. And we was at Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, all there. And the students didn't know, Doc. They don't know their history. What did I just tell you in Judges? Come on now. After Joshua, Doc.
That's right.
His family and friends. Come on now.
Right.
They turned to idol gods.
That's right. That's right.
They forgot what the Lord had brought them through.
That's right.
I was in a certain part of Georgia, South Georgia, leading a demonstration 2 years ago. And we were marching around the courthouse. And the songs they were singing, I didn't know what in the world they were. I'm used to ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We're gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom lane. These young folk were singing songs I'd never heard before. They forgot about their history and they didn't know it. It wasn't no hip hop that saved us and brought us to these opportunities. Hello. And you forget from which you have come. You going to play the game of racism within our own group. Old folks looking down at young folks looking down at old folks. They got us fighting. Oh, black women, black magic, black woman magic. You got a group of black women. Oh, and this law firm, it's advertising on radio in Atlanta. We are all black attorneys. Who in the world cares? I don't give a hoot. You can be Jewish, you can be white. If you're a good lawyer, you're going to fight for me. I want you. Yeah. We're a lawyer firm of all black women. Are you crazy, ladies? You can't divide us. We are all black. They got black women fighting black men. That's the okie doke right here in Jersey. The enemy turning us against each other. Now for the good part.
Come on now.
My wife and I, and I'm finished. My wife and I, after we left the White House in Israel, the First Lady gave a reception for Dr. Plummer of Covenant Girls, ladies, and my wife. We left there going to the Knesset. The Knesset is their parliament. As we were going, we got a call telling my wife not to come to the Knesset. Wake that young man up, please. Wake up, son. We were going to the Knesset, and it said, don't come because it might be violence. Might be violent because y'all Christians. Southern Christian Leadership Conference. So we turned around, they said, we're going to send, Netanyahu was supposed to introduce her to the Knesset. We turned around and they met us at another location, some of their elected officials. So, when we began the tour after my wife spoke, the next day, We were down on the Jericho Road, Neathering Road, as Dr. King said. We was at the Jericho Road, and it was hot. Every time we go to Israel, it's always been in the wintertime. It was 120 degrees every day. Oh, yeah, that's Northeast Africa. They call it the Middle East, but that's Africa. I told my wife, you're not going to see this on CNN. I said, baby, we got to get out of here. She said, why? I said, because Israel getting ready to have a civil war. The Jews was fighting each other. Remind me of another group. Remind me of another group. The Jews fighting each other. They were getting ready to have a civil war. Do you remember them saying, and Israel has the best technology in the world. That's where most of the technology innovation come out of Israel. How in the world did they not see those gliders coming in from the Hamas? Come on, Doc. Why they didn't see those gliders coming in by Hamas? I saw it and I'm not Jewish. I told my wife, we got to get out of here. Because they are fighting among themselves. The Palestinians can attack. The reason they didn't know about Hamas coming in on gliders and killing all their people, because they were fighting among themselves. They were getting ready to fight over one thing. And you never seen it on CNN. They began to fight over one thing.
What was that?
What was that? Thank you for asking. It was the name Jesus Christ. Woo!
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got something. You had a lot of great speakers, but they don't talk like me. They don't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like I tell the truth.
Come on.
They were fighting over the name Jesus Christ. The Orthodox Jews told Netanyahu, if you don't pass a bill, oh, let me go to my seat. If you don't pass a bill saying that anybody in Israel mention the name Jesus Christ, they go to prison for 3 years. Woo! Have you ever heard that before? That's what the real issue was, people. Don't be glued in on this news that you getting from these folks. Many times the enemy's the one giving the news. I remember national news used to call me. They said, still we want this issue. We heard you met with the governor of Virginia. And what would you say when you get here to the studio if we ask you this question? I said, no, you don't ask me this question until I get to the studio. Woo! Most of the Negroes you see reading a script on TV will not tell you the truth. They read what somebody else wrote. Or if they know the truth, they're not going to tell it because they don't own the network. Ladies and gentlemen, as I go to my seat, 6 things we need to do. Dr. King's 6 principles. Gather information. Number 2, educate the public. All I'm saying, when President Barack Obama, and I love him, I know him, I ain't bashing him, but anybody, even Joe Biden, and I'm an undercover Democrat, because I'm really independent. Like Dr. Lowry said, one take us for granted, the other one just take us. It's all about the money, y'all. It's all about the money. And I'm going to show that to you and I'm going to sit down. Educate the public once you get the facts. Don't you know if the 1965 Voter Rights Act was being gutted by Section 4 and Section 5, that's the Pre-Clearance Act, which means you can't change no district until the Department of Justice approve it. And before they approve it, they're going to call folks like y'all and me and others. Is this a good thing to do, or is it racial discrimination? Racism is a virus. like COVID. Racism is institutionalized in America. I spoke at the Lincoln Memorial, over 100,000 folks back in August. Congress people all over the place. I don't care who it is. I'm going to tell you the truth. America is guilty. America is guilty. It is designed to keep us poor. You got to have money in this society. There was $86 billion by venture capitalists that invested in businesses. Venture capitalists with the money. Only 1/2 or 1% was given to black folks. Y'all don't hear me. Let me sit down. How in the world can you make it and you even can't get a loan at the bank? Woo! I know what I'm talking about. My wife got good credit. But my name is on it. Kathleen and Charles. But she got good credit. And we got to go through an underwriter. Somebody you never met before. Somebody you'll never meet again. And you can't even get a loan at your local bank. The general manager that you know and that you have a relationship with has no power. And then they put these black folks over these banks and they can't do nothing for you. Gather information, educate the public. All I'm saying had President Barack Obama, June the 25th, 2013, had he educated the public that the U.S. Supreme Court was getting ready to gut the freedom of black folks and all folks around the world, it would have been 50 million folks in Washington, D.C. protesting. Nobody even know to today that you've gone back to Jim Crow. That's why you see all these states doing what they are doing. That's why you see Edward Bloom having conservatives give him money. They don't show their face or their hand. They smile at you on your job. They smile at you at social events. And they're supporting Edward Bloom and Stephen Miller. They saying reverse racism when black folks go into these corporations. I can't raise no money no more. And I'm a doggone good fundraiser. Because the corporate structure is afraid of being sued. That's what they are doing. They're suing the corporations that create diversity programs. That's what they're doing. You're talking about the inclusion programs of African Americans, and they saying that we need to do just like white folks. Because white folks don't have no special programs. Why should we? Well, white folks were never enslaved. White folks never worked for nothing. White folks were never castrated. White folks has never had their wives and their children raped by the Caucasian race. Why should you have a special program, inclusion program like black folks? Even if you wasn't a slaveholder and you got millions of dollars today, you benefited white folks from slavery. The money was passed on. Well, I know I ain't coming back. Number 3, make a personal commitment. Number 4, you negotiate. Number 5, direct action. Number 6, reconciliation. You always reconcile. So as I go to my seat, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that black money matters. Black money matters. This country does not have a justice department. It has a legal system. No justice is in it. I like what Rodney King said, and I quote Dr. King a lot. But Rodney King said, why can't we just get along? Why can't we just get along? And I finished. I know my time is up. I told him at Lincoln Memorial, I was speaking in the music. Keep on playing, Doc. I might sing. I told him at the Lincoln Memorial, I'm leaving the music, but I ain't leaving the moment. This moment, we got to fight for freedom and justice and equality. We can't sit idly by and act like everything is all right. Ladies and gentlemen, in 10 years, we'll be back on the plantation. You got to speak up. You got to stand up. You got to do what's right because America has never shared in the profit. They're not going to share in the profit. And then black folks come behind them and do the same thing. We always imitate white folk. We imitate everything they do. This system was designed to keep folks poor. Ain't no middle class. You might be in the middle, but it ain't got a doggone thing to do with class. God bless you. Fired up.